Wonderful. Let's see. Let's get going. Are we streaming? Yes. Excellent. Welcome, Daryl. Widgets. Great to be back.
In the faces in the place,
Yeah.
feel the
Welcome,
rhythm
warriors.
in your soul. Ageless Warriors
more
Alliance,
people come
come
in,
and make
just wanted to
yourself
give them a chance
whole. From
grab
every
the link
corner, every
and
land,
join
a spirit strong and
So I
true,
got Daryl. Welcome,
seeking
Daryl.
wisdom, seeking strength, a journey fresh and new.
Yeah,
No
I got a great
matter
show
what
on
your
Who the
story
F is, Benedick
or the
Howard.
battles you have known.
Oh, man. What a
Here
journey.
among these kindred souls, you'll never walk alone. Welcome, welcome, Ageless Warrior, to the family big and wide. Feel the heartbeat of the rhythm, let your worries cast aside. With open arms and a joyful sound, we greet you standing tall. Ageless Warriors Alliance, answering freedom's call. Share our laughter, share our tears,
Okay, brothers and sisters.
our triumphs and our
Let's get the show on
strife,
the road.
building bonds that stand the years, celebrating
Can't
life.
wait to share you the
Supposed to
stuff
know
that
each
happened
heart to
today.
beat, a symphony we
Quite a journey,
raise.
right? And it's also
Through every
quite-
challenge, bittersweet, in these united days.
what we're gonna share out,
Welcome,
how we do
welcome,
it, and
Ageless
people-
Warrior, to the family big and wide.
Oh,
Feel the heartbeat of the rhythm, let your worries cast
Ageless
aside.
Warrior Alliance. Welcome,
With
song.
open arms and a joyful sound, we greet you standing tall. Ageless Warriors Alliance.
All right. So let's hide that one and let's get going with this one. So listen to me. Oh, maybe I should start recording. Oh man, almost forgot to put the message recording here. So here we go. I think we're streaming and we're recording. We should be up on Facebook and up on YouTube on my channels there. And I just had a call from somebody who said that they couldn't log in for some reason, but I don't know. I can't help that now. It's just too much to happen. So here we go. Listen to me. Welcome, Ageless Warriors. I'm Benedick Howard, who the F is, your longevity architect. And I'm telling you, today is the day to stop settling for the slow decline and you start demanding total mastery. And so we're moving past the fallacious theories, past the endless excuses, and straight into the who the F is Benedick Howard. We aren't just talking about health, we're talking about what does he bring to the table for you? And what's he been doing to qualify for that, I guess? We're turning your body's central processing unit, the nervous system, on for peak performance. So in the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get condensed time, 3 or more decades into 30 minutes, and show you how I got from there in the late 80s to here, well, say the early 2000s. And please like and subscribe and help to get this message from the channel out there growing. So in this age of constant digital noise, and there was a survey I did, and that was one of the things. It was like people were just confused by too many conflicting health recommendations. So that constant digital noise and that disconnect that confusion creates. So discovered how you can tap into your primal energy, and that's what I've been really about, and achieve unparalleled vitality, clarity, and longevity. And listen, you've got to stay with me till the very end. I've got a handout I'll be giving you. And because I'm going to reveal the Secret Scientists People Ask Answers downloadable PDF. So I've got a whole bunch of questions around me and answers to it. So unlike last week's briefing, this one is personal. And I've never dared to share some of this information before, and you'll find out why. So take a deep breath. Yeah, take a deep breath with me. And so on each of my Sunday briefings, I illustrate new tools and ways of thinking. And I've spent over 4 decades of testing on myself and later my health and longevity clients. And I want you to really consider this. We've been indoctrinated to think in certain ways, and we need to somehow deprogram from that indoctrination and let that go and let new ideas come in. It's kind of like, in my opinion, and lots of others, everything that we've been taught is completely the opposite of what's actually the truth. So that's what I was doing with this early work and working with sacred geometry and sound. So the bottom line is it's time for you to stop treating symptoms like a victim and start architecting your biology for resilient, unbreakable equilibrium. So Ageless Warriors, get out your pen and paper. You need to keep notes on this. Very cool. So today, I'm going to dive in basically, from then to recently. And the illustration that you see on the back screen here, that's some of the devices, some of the stuff that I've been working with. So today I have, this 30-minute electrifying insonification, sacred space briefing that'll challenge everything you thought you knew about that sort of science and about health, vitality, and the mechanics of miracles. Me, Benedick Howard, the Ageless Warrior Architect, is pulling back the curtain for around this 3-decade journey, which actually started much earlier as a rally car driver, rebel. I was like really good at it, to a pioneer now, 50 years later, in longevity science. So it isn't just another briefing. It's your chance to engage directly. We're diving deep into the hidden history of sacred geometry, sound healing, and the first decades of my research. So let's get this one up. This guy here, this guy, Benedick Howard, who really, it says from radical driver to longevity architect, a deep dive into the early geometry and the sound healing inventions that launched a 3-decade journey in the mechanics of miracles. Just let me put this one up on top here. Okay, this was one of the early devices, and this is like, I spent a lot of money buying the Academy from Dr. Baer and purchasing it from him. And this was one of his inventions, and it was called the receivership chamber. And in it, it's like, I was talking to a friend last night about this presentation. He said, well, what did you experience in there? And I said, it's kind of like the driving, in terms of meditation, you can get to different places, right? But imagine that you could steer into those different places, like you can steer like a Formula One car. I said it was like the Formula One car of really going into different places. So whatever you said in your mind and your intent, this amplified that connection dramatically. And the pyramids at the top there bring in that energy, collect it, and that gold sphere that you see, you see a crystal sphere above my head, and then a gold sphere above that on the top of the pyramid. And those were to collect and amplify the whole collection mechanism of that headdress there. He called it the receivership chamber, and the ideas and would come in really quick. And my mind at that time wasn't able to grasp all of it, but it did get little pieces, chunks of information. And the pyramid that you see on the right, which you just see that right arm of it going up, there was another pyramid to the right here, and it had different geometries set up inside it. And when you sat underneath those geometries, which were cube, tetrahedron, icosahedron, dodecahedron, and somewhere there was an octahedron in it, you could think those places that you could remember, and you could begin to extrapolate the information between those positions. And so you could rebuild it. So that was one of the devices that I used for, back in the day, I was an engineer, blah, blah, blah. And I was really good at looking at systems, hence the rally car driving. I tuned my own cars. And even though I was super young. And that all came to me through the connection that I somehow maintained coming here. And this device here really helped me to look into many, many different places. So one of the things that I did was I took these basic shapes on the road for many years, doing workshops around the States and up into Canada, and then also into Europe. And I was investigating what was happening on people's energy fields, their auras, as they sat in these different shapes. So it's kind of like you see the reflection of the cube and the octahedron on the floor there. That actually happens in the etheric space, in that dodecahedral space. And when we started playing with this in different ways, we discovered amazing things, and people got huge, huge clarifications, different messages coming in, balancing of their energy, stress reduction, a whole bunch of different things. And this work that you see in the middle picture there, that came out literally out of, I think it's this one. Let's see if it comes up. No, it didn't. Okay, rats. Let's see. Well, we can get into this, but this is a little later. And yeah, okay. Got lots of pictures to go through. The extrapolation of what I just showed you, this led me to different people. And I wanted to show you the dodecahedron, the original one in Starcrest Academy, but it's maybe lower down. But this, well, okay, this takes us a huge step, right? I met this guy called Michael Bradford, or was introduced to him, and this was one of his designs, which is a sound table, and it's inside a cube octahedron. He was ex-NSA, National Security Agency, and he was a prodigy kid, and he made this. The bed itself vibrates with speakers underneath this, and I took this unit on the road with me for about 1.5 years or 2 years, I forget now, in the late 80s, early 90s maybe. And I was recording sessions and keeping data on sessions. And that data is part of my trade with Michael. And these devices were really interesting because they had biofeedback, which was from changes in your energy field as you relax to the musical, cymatic musical massage effect of the music perambulating through the body. And that leads us to, the science of what became the Dreamweaver. And this device here, okay, this is the one I wanted to show you earlier. This was the first dodecahedron that was part of the Starcrest Academy purchase. I built the table and was working out ways of how I could get myself aligned in there. And here I'm just jumping in the table whilst the camera was going through its flash sequence. And those are, I think there's like 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were like 8 or 9 rose quartz spheres that I put around me at shoulders like a sephira around me inside the dodecahedron there. And one evening, my daughter had a raging temperature, and I placed her in there, and she stopped being flushed and her temperature adjusted. She was more comfortable. And I went like, oh, this is interesting. What's happening? I took her out of there and put her back onto the couch, and the fever came back. I put her back into there, and it was like, oh my goodness. So imagine this is like, trying to put these pieces together with nobody to show you what the pieces are and what to expect from it. And so this is one of the one of the issues when I bought the academy is that it turned out that I was actually walking into a very dark planetary space. And the lady who was friends with Dr. Not Michael, that was the other inventor, Dr. Randall Baer, she was Aleister Crowley's, as it turned out, I didn't know at the time, but it was kind of weird energy, Aleister Crowley's granddaughter. Weird things happen. I mean, Dr. Baer was killed about 18 months, 2 years after I bought the academy. And Vicky's boyfriend was also drowned. I mean, there was like these two deaths, major things were happening. And that aside, that was the drama side of it, but that was the sort of level that I'm dealing with. Now, that one of the other things I was dealing with is like these cymatic patterns, which are the patterns in water at different frequencies. So when we play a note through that table, you're getting this parabolation of the music or the notes going through the body, massaging the body, the tissues and everything else. And that parabolation causes a very deep visceral, response in the body, and also an energetic one too. I did a lot of study on this, and it's all at dreamweaving.com. And I've got a bunch of different articles that I put together. This is back in the early 90s again. And I just wanted to share I trained a bunch of facilitators. I built, I think, like 100 and change units over the years. And I trained a whole bunch of different facilitators. And I wanted to just briefly, and you can go and check this out yourself later, I wanted to briefly show you Suzanne's Dreamweaver facilitating report. And so this was started in 1997. And so she designed the course, and she was a PhD, so she was used to putting together, a good solid study. And she now has several Dreamweavers in military folks. So it was like all of these reports that came together over maybe a 5 or 7 year period, I forget. There was Bentley Calloway, who's a musician actually on Maui. There was Lou Jump, who actually focused her work on grief. There was, where's Debbie? Debbie's in there. Yeah, Deb Barrett's report. She was an artist. There was a report from my ex on childbirth and pain management in the Dreamweaver. And also a click to light language. Now, that is and I don't think this, well, maybe it will load. We'll try. Right, I figure it wouldn't. Yeah, there's something, whatever it is. But it was, what? Cancel? No. And let's move on here. You can go and investigate those later. So the Dreamweaver came together out of dreams, meeting Michael, getting permission from him to work with his unit, understanding that. And at the same time, I was telling him I wanted to develop the dodecahedral version because of what I had discovered when I was doing the early work. Let's see if this one is it. When I was doing the early work, touring with these different shapes and doing workshops around the planet, or around North America. So on the left there, you see actually people who are lying on a floor that I invented that now moves with the music itself across the whole floor, so I can do group sessions. 30 minutes. We are 17 minutes into it. Oh my God, we got so much to do. So we talked in past ones, we talk past Sunday briefings, we talked about the mitochondrial voltage. And in 2008, the sound work had diminished in terms of my interest. I'd spent, well, by this time, I'd spent basically 20 years on it. So I knew a lot about sound, and it's not what you learn in sound healing stuff. It's a different way of looking at the way that energy is. And the dodecahedron was key to understanding that. We looked at that shape of the different frequencies and the different shapes that are made in water droplets. There was that photograph. So that's what the cymatic healing is. It's like using the sound to entrain the whole biological system into states of higher level consciousness or coherence and resilience. And that is the perfect time to help people deprogram from past beliefs and into their vision. And so that's where my focus really laid in terms of like training facilitators. It's all very well looking over your shoulder, but you're not going to go anywhere but look over your shoulder. You've got to be focused on what you want to bring in. And of course, the mind has that ability, that phenomenal ability to do that. So it led to, evolving this lost research and putting it all together into the blueprint for the Ageless Warrior. And for this modern high-stressed world. And, talking about that, I forgot to mention, download my book, or the first chapter from my book, High Attitude Hiking the Hawaiian Manas. I go up there in all sorts of weather conditions. I just love it up there. And then there's, of course, the cellular rejuvenation. We're going to get more into that in the next couple of briefings. And that is how to really get the body cleansed so that you can sort of do a reset and with that reset, get to the next level. So the one of the works that I did, and I love this one, I had this actually redrawn with AI, but it was like I had a very, very, an early shot when we had cameras that were only, what were they, 400 or 200, I don't know what pixels or whatever wide they were. Anyway, what I did here was I was interested in how by this stage, I knew how geometries sculpted energy, and it all ties into a foundational. It's all tying it into foundational building blocks. And if it's true in this situation, and I compare it to the foundational one, and it agrees, it shakes hand with it, then we know that it's true in this situation over here. So that's how I use that to really assess and research, different situations in what now is a very, very complex system, the body. And so what I was doing here was I had water in these blue bottles, and I put these shapes around the blue bottles like that. And you know what? It structures the water, just the shape structured the water in those bottles. So that gives us a hint as to how powerful the Shen Fui, that the space around us, is in terms of sculpting consciousness. And what happened with these waters is that how I knew that they had been structured is that they all tasted different. Get that? It was like some were more acidic and some were more alkaline. And I forget the details of which it was. But it was like an interesting thing that I didn't pursue, with a lot of people, but it'd be interesting for people to pick up on this and do their own research with it. So there were a lot of little things that I was studying along and different effects, which I don't have time to go into, but I do have in my first book, The Dance of Gaia and Prana. It's different from the second book, which I'm just finishing up and will release on my 75th birthday at the end of May. And the first book actually hasn't been published yet, and I will publish it after I've done the second book. But in that book, I detailed all of the early work in much more specific. Well, I was younger when I wrote it, so I remembered a lot more of it. So this geometric research, it's really going beyond I shouldn't say hate. I don't like the word hack. It's kind of like stealing, and it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel ethical. However, it's become popular. So anyway, so beyond the biohacking bullshit, right? But that hacking, it's not, it's a life form. It survives on love and doing no harm and all of those qualities. And it's not about hacking anything down. So I was exploring the intersection of physics, sound therapy, sacred geometry, and later on the microcurrent biofeedback, and the world's most powerful environment for cellular rejuvenation. Now let's have a look at the vertebrae just for a moment. This is way later, guys. This came in it was 10 years ago, roughly. So it'd be 2016 or something. This is it cascades electrical signals into the back when you lay on it, right? So what I did was I put that inside the Dreamweaver, or it could be, on the floor here. They were feeling it, or they could lie on the vertebra and get not only the musical massage component, but also the electrical massage component coming from the vertebra here. Is this a med bed? Most definitely. It's not that med beds, as I understand it, you go into kind of like a float chamber, and it's full of electrolytes, and then we can get a really good conductivity to all of the skin with just microcurrents in that fluid. This is doing it dry, so to speak. You don't have to be in wet, but the med beds at that level operate at a higher capacity of healing and actually regrowing limbs and fingers and things pretty far out. Not that I've seen anything like that on this one. So these guided group sessions, really, I started doing these around COVID again, back here. And this is my yoga studio, and where I do my Ashtanga yoga. And each one of those panels on the floor has its own transducer underneath it, and it's vibrating. And they went into, it was really interesting. There's a whole bunch of YouTube videos that are up there. You can go and watch their responses, but it varied from etheric to revealing the dark side of that individual for that person. Now I put this image here of one of those thumper things, I call it, but it's like a massager. And the intersection of that with the DNAS, which we talked about in an earlier Sunday briefing, and the electrical stim component, and expanded on what I just talked about with the vertebra. But one thing that came out, and this is what I really want to sort of leave you with, is any movement of any particle, air, tissue, rock, my car, anything that's moving creates an electromagnetic field around it. And as that electromagnetic field extrapolates outwards, and I'll put more in the article when I write the article to accompany this video. So go check that out at benedickhoward.com/blog, right? But so we got mechanical stimulation, and we got electrical stimulation. Now, if you've been following these Sunday briefings, excuse me, I should grab some water here. If you can imagine, there's an intersection between when a particle is being moved, you have an electromagnetic resonance coming off it. And I'm going to leave it at that for you to think about it some more. So I'm going to wind down here. We've got a couple of minutes. And if you're on the live stream here, I'm going to put this up, and you can click on the download, and you can download a sheet which is, I think, 10 or 12 questions about myself. So yeah, go grab that before I take that screen down. Yeah, you just need to click on the download. So this will only be for the Ageless Warrior founding members who are in that subscription membership. And by the way, that subscription membership, I'm going to be putting up the price and to get it up to where it should be. And that'll be probably in the $47, $97 a month. So you guys are coming in on the founders level. You got a great deal ongoingly. So let's answer a couple, or take a look at a couple of these questions. Who is Benedick Howard and what's his background? Well, we covered that, and my journey began with a quest for healing after chronic back injury. That was when I was 14, 1965, I think it was, 67, I forget. And that's what led me down this journey in life. The Dreamweaver and how does it relate to sound healing? Do go to dreamweaving.com. That's one word, dream weaving. And that's the site for there. And if you go, I'm just going to move over here for a moment and just get you into, let's go for this one. Dreamweaving.com. Let's find a simple link for you. Okay. Dreamweaver FNDX. So it's DWFNDX.htm. And that will take you to the facilitators that are around and to the testimonials. There's pages and pages and pages of testimonials from people. I have literally books full of them. And so you can find out more about that there. So this science and spirituality as the sacred scientist is something that I was fortunate enough to go through Dr. Bear's course on that before he let go of the academy and then later on passed on. He was only 33. And so it's just like this electrochemical symphony that's going on within our body and also going on outside our body, right? And they're all interconnected, like we are all interconnected ourselves. So the 30 volts per meter, well, we did a whole Sunday briefing on that. Go grab it. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Benedick Howard. One word. It's not, and it's BENEDICK. Thanks, Mum, for the dick. Huh? And and that came out of like this U.S. Army research that I happened upon in 2006. So that really changed my focus and supported what I was suspecting. And we did take a good deep dive in that Sunday briefing a few weeks ago. So the vertebra technology we talked about, but really what I want to get to now is like see if I can find any Q&As and also close out the session. In fact, let's go right there. I think that's all that we got time for right now. So I'm going to put on my jingle here and see if I can get to a level that is not too loud. There we go, maybe. And
faces in the place,
you know, as we
feel the rhythm
briefing,
in your soul. Ageless Warriors Alliance,
but first,
come and make yourself whole. From
first
every
chapter of
corner,
my book,
every land,
and to be on my email list,
spirit strong
and away
and
from the
true,
social media
seeking
censorship.
wisdom, seeking strength.
Today, and
A journey fresh and new.
and grab that. It's free.
No matter
Keeps
what
you on
your
the list,
story
keeps you in touch.
or the battles you
So today
have
we
known,
continue the next phase of our
here
rebellion.
among these kindred souls, you'll never walk alone. Welcome, welcome, ageless warrior, to the family big and wide. Feel the heartbeat of the rhythm. Let your worries cast aside. With open arms and a joyful sound, we greet you standing tall. Ageless Warriors Alliance, answering freedom's call. Share our laughter, share our tears,
So I've
our triumphs and our strife, building bonds that stand a year,
connection,
celebrating life.
body lying there
Force a
in the
note
dodecagon,
each heart to beat,
and
a symphony we raise through every challenge, bittersweet. In these united days, welcome, welcome, ageless warrior, to the family big and wide. Feel the heartbeat of the rhythm. Let your worries cast aside. With open arms and a joyful sound, we greet you standing tall. Ageless Warriors Alliance, answering freedom's call. Rise up with purpose bright. Let your inner fire bleed.
So I've decided from now
Empowerment in every step,
command, which I've been
fulfilling
talking about
every dream.
study
Together we are stronger, a force of peace and mind, shining brighter than the stars in the darkest of the night. Welcome, welcome, ageless warrior, to the family big and wide. Feel the heartbeat of the rhythm.
So again, your weekly
Let
challenge,
your worries
practice
cast
your vibrational
aside.
alignment, your posture,
Open arms and a joyful sound, we greet you standing tall. Ageless Warriors Alliance, answering freedom's call. Ageless Warriors, brand new day.
You say,
Join the alliance, come what may.
And if I let my power go and give it to
One
the
heart,
doctors,
forever we stand. Welcome home, welcome to the promised
the brave
land.
thing and the scary thing is to take that responsibility for oneself. So go forth, question everything, and continue to architect your longevity. Warrior Benedick, over and out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop the recording. I mean the stream first. Stop. Stop. No keep. Oh, I don't know quite what happened there. I hope it streamed. Maybe it didn't. So we'll find that out. And let's aloha, everybody. Sunday briefings, 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I've stopped the recording.